Y'all, do you guys not understand there's a difference between being confident and being delusional? When you're confident, it makes you more attractive. When you're delusional, it makes you seem insane and it makes you less attractive. Every video I see of 3s and 4s saying they're 9s and 10s is literally insane. And it's funny because it's like, if you were a 10, your life would be different. Who are you comparing yourself to? When I give myself like a 6.5, that's because I'm smart enough to compare myself to every woman on the planet, including literal supermodels. I was watching a dating show this morning. This girl's like, I'm perfect. There should be a line of 9 million men around my house. Sweetie, if that was true, there would be, because there literally are women on the planet who could have literally probably any man that are solid 10s. There isn't a line because you aren't that. And you're insane. And you need to be humbled. And women aren't helping. They're making it worse.
Today's women have an overinflated perception of their worth that has nothing to do with the real value of they have in the intimacy marketplace.
How are you falling in love and falling for at all, period? Falling for at all. Broke guys. What is appealing about a man that is in debt and unable to provide for you? I need to know this. I need to know the science behind it. I need you to make it make sense for me. Because I'm genuinely so concerned. So concerned for you. I'm concerned for your mental health. I'm concerned for your overall well-being. I am just very concerned. And I need you to know that there's nothing okay about that. There's nothing okay about that, okay?
Oh, I don't know, because personality, political beliefs, values, future goals, and environment have nothing to do with it. And by the way, for the moms in the comments that I saw say that they want to send this to their daughter, that their daughter needs to know this, shame on you.
Modern women are a mystery. They want equality, which means 50-50, but they don't want to pay their half. They don't want to work with the same level of equality, which means working dangerous jobs as men do. They want to be helped by men all the time, yet they won't date a man who's broke. They don't offer any loyalty. Where's the equality in that? In the video, you can see the man has a point. He's paid for his family, which his good wife approves too. But the other women at the table just can't believe it.
If you're not 6 foot or make 6 figures, women don't want you. We all know dating has become increasingly difficult due to the inflation of female standards. With the amount of options women have on social media and dating apps, it has severely skewed the perception of what is desired and attainable. But as a nearly 6 foot man, multi-6-figure earner, handsome, no kids, and under 30, we can have preferences too. For example, I prefer a woman who is 5'5" to 5'7". I prefer a woman who makes at least $60,000 a year. I prefer a woman who is educated and comes from a good family background. Now, I've earned the right to have these preferences, but the issue is that most women have not. That's like a guy who smokes weed all day in his mom's basement saying that he deserves a Playboy model. You're delusional. And for the woman with delusional standards, I guarantee you that the husband that you will one day settle for is nothing like the Prince Charming you imagined.
They want him to pay for everyone since, quote, he's the only man at the table, unquote. If they want the man at the table to pay, then clearly they're not equal. He's putting more on the table. Everything. But still, when it comes to the benefit of getting a free meal, these women forget all about the equality they love to throw at men's faces all the time. Women always quote women's rights and women's equality until the bills come. And the nerves of the other women to ask his wife if she's gonna let him? That's a grown man, and I'm happy his wife backed him up. Equality.
I'm going to record this. It's called the Female Delusional Calculator. Now watch this. This is what I'm going to love. This is backed by the United States Census Bureau. It's factual data. Define a man of my dreams. So I'm going to plug this in here. 28 to 45. Any race, color, white, black, or Asian. I'm going to exclude obese men. I'm sure you don't want an obese guy. And let's just say they need to make at least 100K a year. Let's see what the probability of you finding that person in America that's non-married. You have a 5.6% chance.
So apparently all these high-value men are just off the market by age 28. Good luck, people. So what you're saying is if I eat less tacos, I'll be a rare catch. Though TBH, I'll probably just stick with tacos. Sounds better than dealing with women, to be honest. But I mean, this also is kind of sad because it's showing the fatness of America. We need help.
That's all that modern women have to talk about these days. They talk about how they want equality in society. They want equality in relationships and partnerships. They want equality in the office. They want equal pay. They want equal representation in the media. They want equal representation in education and academia.
You know how like Andrew Tate has Hustlers University? I want Emily Hustler University. So I gave this advice for free yesterday on the YouTube. I said guys, because guys are having so much trouble dating. I was like, literally no one's gonna tell you this, and it's the most obvious thing. If you're having issues dating because of how modern society is, go for a conservative or Republican girl. That is going to get rid of most of the issues. When you're talking about walking on eggshells and being too sensitive and all the misogyny and do I pay for the bill? Do I split it? If I put my card down, then am I an asshole? Blah, 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 all these things. No. Conservative women are going to understand, acknowledge their place in the relationship as a female so you can be a man without being called toxic.
But do they want to put in the same effort for all of these things as men? No, not at all. Many women, when they put in the effort and are tasked with the same responsibilities that men have to be able to actually receive the same pay as them, back out and start complaining. It really is incredibly unjustified when women say things such as what men bring to the table. Well, we probably built the table and we probably farmed all the meat and the vegetables that are going on your plate that's on the table. He said we also probably worked on the water mains that enable you to fill up your kettle, or have a glass of water with your food that we farmed to put on the table that we built. Or maybe you want a beer with the dinner from the food that we farmed on the table that we built. Well, we probably worked at the breweries to produce that beer that you can drink to eat with the food that we farmed on the table that we built now. Right now, it's raining outside, so I would much rather eat my food that's been farmed by men on the table, that's been built by men indoors who built this house.
I think that we all know that women can be pretty lazy during the early stages of dating, because if a man wants you, he is expected to give you all of his effort. But women just need to give the green light. He is expected to move mountains if he wants you. But the problem with that is what happens once he has you, because that sort of thing is not maintainable. And then women, are you with somebody that you actually like, or just with somebody that is willing to give you all of his attention? And that is what's not fair to men, because all of these men's hearts are being broken, and then they're not re-entering the dating world. They're doing their own thing, and then we're left with a pool of boys that we keep complaining about on TikTok.
Men laid the foundations for the male bricklayers to build a house that the male roofers could put a roof on, so then you and I and everyone else could eat their dinner farmed by men. He continued and said, "Drink the drink that's been produced by men on the table that's been built by men. So I think we bring more than enough to the table. Throughout their lives, men are supposed to do everything for women and dedicate their lives to providing for, protecting, and helping women. And you know what? Men do that with a lot of joy, and it brings them a lot of satisfaction when they know they're being the providers. It gives them a solid purpose because they know they're doing justice to what the universe meant for them to do. They do it proudly because that's in their nature. I'm talking about high-value men, not a simp who starts crying if he gets rejected by a girl. But the question is, why do women expect everything from a man, especially when all they can do now is talk about equality and how men have oppressed and controlled them? It's quite true that modern women have become too entitled. The whole talk about equality seems like it's only meant for women to receive selective equality. You see, women want equality, but they want to put in the work behind it. For example, you still won't see any women lining up to be part of the construction industry. They're going to talk about equality so that they can only become CEOs and board members of organizations in the construction industry. They're going to talk about being in the armed forces, but only as heads of organizations in the defense industry. They will talk about equality in the government, but only want to be the leaders of government organizations. It seems equality for women is about taking control and taking over positions held by men who have dedicated their lives and climbed the ladder by sacrificing their everything just in an ultra-competitive world. With the promise of freedom from males, feminism has devastated the majority of Western women. Women need males more than they realize because they are unhappy at work and are turning into crazy, lonesome cat ladies, but they won't confess it as long as it is taboo to do so. In the future decades, as our culture gets more conservative, they will eventually come to recognize it. Depending on how well they take care of themselves, men usually peak later in life, sometimes in their late 30s or even closer to 40. But there is a significant disparity. Due to their lifetime of free attention, mostly from thirsty betas and guys who just kind of throw it at them repeatedly. They have considerably better self-esteem and an entitlement that doesn't reflect their actual worth, in appearance, or as a potential partner for alpha males, who'd rather be with young and single women. It comes to them via social media. This woman, who worked for herself and made more than $30,000 per month, wrote off a firm with one business strategy, had a sizable fan base, and undoubtedly garnered the admiration and attention of many individuals. Because of the products she was pushing and selling, I would assume that most of her audience was female, but no man in his right mind would choose that. For the most part, women only date and marry up the socioeconomic spectrum. If it's an alpha, you can tell that they merely want to have a brief affair. Nothing will stop them from spending the night with a recent prisoner if he's alpha enough. But again, hypergamy dictates that they only date and marry up in the long run. As a male in the intimacy market, you must realize that today's women have an excessively entitled feeling of self-worth and think they are worth far more than their actual market value. Women find that really difficult. They find it extremely difficult to embrace the possibility that one day they could run into a wall and realize, well, that was an eye-opening experience. They generally come to the realization and say, I need to have fewer expectations at some point. Regardless of how much money women make, they need to have a more realistic idea of their worth in the world. They don't share it with guys. Men are ignorant. We share our pot of gold with women who do not consistently share their pot of wealth with men. They anticipate meeting someone who is more fortunate and, of course, checks off all these boxes and shares his gold for the rest of her life. He must be humorous, kind, loving, kind, accept my children as his own, alpha, competent, know how to change a tire and know how to do this and that, are just a few of the expectations that women appear to have of men. It's as if they have a list of 200 conditions you must fulfill before you are allowed to date a lady in her late 30s who also comes with children. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.